Shalom, friends. We are gathered tonight on a threshold, a divine appointment, not just to remember something ancient, but to step into something eternal. Shavuot is also called the Feast of Weeks or Pentecost. It's one of the moedim, the set apart times of Yahweh that he commanded himself, not Jewish traditions, not man made holidays, his appointments. And unlike man's holidays, which come and go with no eternal weight, these are rehearsals. Rehearsals for redemption, for restoration, and for the return of the King. Tonight we get to uncover what Shavuot really is, why fire fell at Mount Sinai and in Acts 2, how Yeshua is the Word who spoke at both, what the two loaves really mean, and why this feast still matters for us today. Shavuot happens 50 days after Passover, 7 full weeks plus 1 day. At Passover, we remember the blood of the Lamb, how Yahweh delivered his people out of Egypt, slavery, and death. And then he didn't just set them free to wander, he brought them to himself. 50 days later, they stood trembling at the base of the Mount Sinai. The mountain was wrapped in smoke, thunder roared, lightning flashed, a thick cloud descended. The voice of Yahweh himself rang out like a shofar. And from the midst of fire, he spoke, not to one man, to all of them. He gave them his Torah, his covenant instructions, with his own voice, not whispered, not written first, but spoken. That's how it began, the marriage proposal between Creator and creation. If you obey my voice and keep my covenant, you will be my treasured possession. Now, pause with me for a moment. John chapter 1 tells us, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. All things were made through him. Yeshua, the one we call Jesus, is not just a good man, not just a sacrifice. He is the word that thundered from Sinai. He is the voice that formed creation. He is the one who gave the Torah at Mount Sinai and the one who later became flesh and walked among us. So when people backed away from the voice and said, Moses, you go speak to him, it wasn't just about fear. It was a tragedy. They turned away from the very intimacy Yahweh longed for, from the living word. They were given tablets of stone, but it was never meant to stay there. Fast forward 1500 years to Jerusalem, same calendar date, same appointed time. The disciples are not hiding in the upper room. They're waiting. Why? Because Yeshua told them to wait in Jerusalem for the promise of the Father. And because they were obeying Torah, they were counting the Omer. They were preparing their hearts for Shavuot. And just like at Sinai, the fire fell, but this time, not on a mountain, on them. Tongues of fire, a rushing wind, the sound of heaven breaking in, and suddenly the word didn't just thunder to them, it began to speak through them. And Peter, a fisherman who once denied Yeshua, stands up, filled with the Spirit, and says, repent, be immersed, and receive the gift of Ruach HaKodesh. This wasn't a new religion being formed. This wasn't the start of Christianity. This was the fulfillment of the promise in Jeremiah 31 that Yahweh would write his Torah, His instructions, his ways, not on tablets of stone, but on hearts of flesh. Shavuot is the giving of the word, first at Sinai, then again in Jerusalem, and today to us. Because Yeshua is the same yesterday, today, and forever, he doesn't change. He still speaks, he still writes, and he still sends fire. In ancient times, Shavuot was a harvest feast. You brought the first fruits of your wheat crop to the temple, a sign of thanksgiving, a promise of more to come. But do you know what's strange? The offering for Shavuot was 2 loaves of bread with leaven. Almost every offering to Yahweh had to be unleavened. But this one was different. Why? Because it represents us, Jew and Gentile. 2 loaves, still in process, still with imperfections, but still being brought before the King as first fruits. We are yet not perfect, but we are being made holy, and He accepts us as we yield, as we repent, and as we walk in covenant. Shavuot is not just a story of the past. It's a call in the present, a wedding invitation, a commissioning, a moment when the heavens open and ask, will you receive my word? Not just in your mind, but in your heart? Will you carry my fire, not just to speak in tongues, but to live in truth? Yeshua said, if you love me, keep my commandments. This wasn't legalism. That was a love language. Obedience is how we say, I do. Friends, we are living in urgent days. The harvest is ripe, but the workers are few. And Yahweh is still pouring out his spirit, not on the proud or the polished, but on the obedient, on those who hunger for truth, on those who cling to both the word and the spirit. We're not waiting for another Pentecost. We're being invited to the original design, covenant love with the living word, filled with his spirit, ready for his return. So tonight, as we stand on this holy day, let the fire fall again, not on a mountain, not just in history, but in us. Let your heart be the altar. Let your life be the offering. Let your soul receive the word, not just a story, but as a person, Yeshua, the word made flesh, because the king is coming and the fields are white.